Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you my favorite NFT tools to help you maximize your profit in the NFT market. Now, before I do, I quickly just want to address this amazing honorary one-of-one NFT that Tripsters has made me. They basically took my Azuki and they tripped it out. So thank you guys. Shout out to Tripsters. This is absolutely amazing. I love this. Hopefully more Azuki beans join this wave. It would be awesome to see a lot more Azukis tripped out other than just Bored Apes. It's my first one-of-one honorary and I couldn't ask for a better one. So without further ado, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and let's go ahead and hop into these NFT tools. All right, so the first tool that I want to talk about, and this is one that I use literally every single day. I try to have it up on an extra monitor just sitting there, and that's going to be NFTNerds, specifically NFTNerds.ai. So there's a lot of great things that you can do with this tool. There's a lot of ways you can use it to maximize your profit potential. So I'm going to use Shinsekai as an example because this had a recent mint, and I'm going to show you guys how I use this to maximize my profit potential, not just with Shinsekai, but specifically any project that I may be wanting to flip, or maybe I want to pick up a few to flip and hold. By the way, this is how I do it. And before I show you this, so this is a solid example. There's plenty of examples that I'll show you on how you can maximize profit potential with this tool. This is an example on Shinsekai where I saw a certain pattern forming, just a typical ascending triangle pattern that we had back here forming on the chart. And then we had a clean breakout. So basically the way I'm able to make these calls and do some of these plays is by having the data right in front of me, not just seeing the sales activity on OpenSea, but being able to see the chart data displayed on something like one of these scatter charts. So it allows me to identify where support is, where resistance is, and that basically means where the market is having a hard time getting above. Another really great feature about this tool, and the best, is to show it in real time when a mint is happening. A mint is not happening right now, at least not that I'm aware of. It will show you real-time trades and real-time listings. So basically what that means is, let's say you just minted an NFT, or maybe you just bought an NFT. Well, on this side where it says listings, it will immediately show that listing, and then it will also immediately show what purchases are happening. So as you can see right now, there are more listings more or less than there are purchases happening right now. And typically when you see that, that means the price is going to fall because there is less demand and there's more supply. However, if sales were happening much faster than listings, that means that there's a lot more demand than there is supply. So that's typically when we're going to see floor prices start to rise. On top of that, what is really great is they have this bar chart, and it essentially shows you the floor walls. So let's say I had an exit strategy, just as an example on Shinsekai. Let's say I wanted to get out at 0.7, which isn't showing up anymore, but you can see it's right in between 0.6 and 0.8. Well, I would know to get to 0.7, there's a total of 188 listings, but to get to that, there is 106 listed at 0.65. There is 38 listed at 0.6. So basically, let's say I wanted to sell now and I wanted to figure out the best price I could get out at. That is probably going to be somewhere around 0.6 because the floor wall for 0.65 is just really high. And you can go into more details and split this up by like 0.05 or 0.02 or 0.1. But where this really comes in handy is when there's a lot of volume being pumped into a certain collection and you're trying to basically find the best entry and exit points possible, which may not seem like a lot, but oftentimes it is. Over the course of a period of time, it could be the difference of you banking an extra couple of ETH just by having this data to maximize your profits. Another great thing that you can do on a collection that has already revealed or that's been trading for a while is, besides all of that, you can actually see the rankings in real time. So let's say you're sitting on here and someone lists a rare on the floor. Well, you can instantly click buy. It will open a prompt and you can confirm the transaction there, or you can go directly to OpenSea. You can also move over to the holders and see the unique holders, exactly how many people are holding, what is the unique percentage, how many are owned on average by each holder, which in this case is 1.8. You can see the largest wallets that hold the most, and so on. Another really great thing you can do is click Firehose up here. I'm not really sure why it is called Firehose, but anyways, you can click manage alerts. You can add a new alert, and then let's say I want Azuki and I want to know when Azuki drops back down to 25 ETH, for example, and I want it to be X amount of rank. I can do that. I'm not going to do that. You click save, and so basically alerts are active. If Azuki dips down into 25 ETH, basically it will ping me and let me know, and you can turn on sound and stuff like that. So you can do that for a ton of collections. You can essentially set an alert. It will tell you, hey, this collection has hit this price, and then that's that. So that's pretty much NFT Nerds in a nutshell. There's other features that I didn't talk about. There's a lot to go into, but the main features that I use on a daily basis is the user interface here. So I use the charts to analyze the data. I use the bar chart to see where the best entry and exit point is in terms of maximizing my profit, or even potentially cutting losses depending, and then seeing listings and trades in real time with the rarity feature. So that's pretty much it for NFT Nerds. It is kind of a costly subscription. For 1 month, it is 0.15 ETH, and for 6 months, it is half an ETH. But if you're fortunate enough to be in a solid alpha group, they may have some type of discount offered for NFT nerds. These guys were kind enough to give Azeroth a discount. It is definitely worth the cost, especially when you really start getting into the NFT space. When you're trying to maximize your profits and get as much as possible, this tool is definitely worth it and one I use every single day. All right, so the next tool I use, and one that I recently just switched to and I absolutely love it, is one that is built into OpenSea's user interface, which is very smooth and it looks really good, and that is called Flava Tools. Some people call it Flava Tools, but the founders explained to me that it's like the floor is lava, so pretty sure it's called Flava Tools. Anyway, there are 500 of these passes. They're gonna have a subscription-based model. I'm trying to secure a deal with Azeroth to get access to these because I really do like their platform. So let's go ahead and hop in and I'll show you what these guys are about. So first things first, what's really great is if you use something like Flava Tools, you no longer need a rarity tool. So you no longer need to pay for Super C, or you no longer need to use Trait Sniper. They have a rarity tool built right into it, and I have cross-checked it with a lot of these other rarity tools, and it does seem to be pretty much spot on. Another great thing is up here, they have their own interface that they added on, which kind of looks very similar to OpenSea's user interface. And the whole point of that is they wanted the integration to be seamless, smooth. They didn't want it to seem like something just random being attached to OpenSea. So in my opinion, these guys did a really good job. And just to be clear, how I'm able to use this and see this is because I did purchase a pass. So one of the Flava Tools passes off of OpenSea, and I basically just connected it, and now it's allowing me to see this interface. So at the top, we have 1, 7, and 30 days. It basically displays the current market cap, sales for that period of time. So today there were 7 sales, but this is probably just updated because we've just crossed over into midnight. It shows you the volume traded, and it shows you the percentages in terms of royalties. Scrolling down, as I mentioned, it shows you the rarity, which is super important. This goes hand in hand, in my opinion, with something like NFT Nerds, because NFT Nerds is something that I personally use to potentially maximize profits. And where I come in and use something like Flava is to see, maybe I want to pick up a higher rank item, or maybe I'm browsing a floor collection. And let's say Azuki, for example, one day I'm looking at the floor, I notice, wow, someone dropped a rank 500 on the floor. This would be a tool to help me realize that and quickly snatch it up. And that's actually something I recently did with this tool on Project Gojira. I noticed that there was a rank 67 and a rank 106 listed on the floor. I bought one of those up last week. One of my team members who's also using Flava picked up the rank 67, and I picked up the rank 106 off of the floor. And the only reason that we were able to see that is by using something like Flava, having the data and the information right there, not having to plug it in somewhere else. And what's also great is that you can actually set up quick buy. So let's say you want to just make a transaction happen really fast, really seamlessly. You can preset your gas, preset priority fees and GUI, and you can click quick buy. It will do all of the transaction data for you. So normally when you go into MetaMask, you have to change the GUI, you have to change the priority fee. You can preset this to make sure that you have a 99% or better chance of your transaction going through. So once you click quick buy, it'll bring up the transaction. All you have to do is hit confirm. And where that comes in handy, and which is really great, is the next thing that we're going to look at, which is going into activity, going into listings, and then at the top, Flava will have its own interface here. And one thing I really love about Flava is the rate of data refresh. It's insanely fast, and the reality is no matter how good a tool looks or how good it feels or operates, the tool and the person using it is only going to be as capable as the data that it's able to produce in an efficient amount of time. So basically what I mean by that is if the data is delayed, then you are going to have a serious disadvantage over any other person or any other trader who's taking it seriously, who has quicker data than you. So where this comes in handy, for example, with their listing tool, this one has recently just minted, so this will be a good one to use as an example. So we'll go over to activity, we'll go into listings, and then what we can do, we can see these listings that are updating. So we can click add notifier, and what it's going to do is it's going to pull up new listings. And what you'll notice a lot of the times is that the listings will come here typically 5 to 25 seconds later. So 6, 16, 17, 18. So, okay, that one took about nearly 18 to 20 seconds to pull up on OpenSea compared to the listing on Flava. So that is where, let's say you click quick buy, and within that 20-second gap, you would have already purchased the token compared to the people waiting to see what's being listed on OpenSea. So when you go to a collection that has already been revealed, where this really comes in handy is when it is displaying this data faster, and it's showing you the rank and rarity in real time that you're able to click quick buy and basically speed up your transaction before the data hits OpenSea, before before anyone else essentially sees that data that X and X has been listed. So for example, if you know that the floor on this collection is 1.75 ETH and you have this listing notifier on, which you can set by rank, but I haven't. Let's say a rank 100 or sub 100 hits the floor. Well, you're going to get notified here typically before the data hits OpenSea. So you have the chance to click quick buy and essentially snipe that higher rank before anyone else sees it and your transaction has pretty much already gone through. And where that really comes in handy is specifically on reveal days when collections are just revealing. So you saw how long that took. That was about 25 seconds. So when a collection is revealing, this is basically something that you would want to look on one of your screens, because oftentimes people may not realize that they are listing a very high rank on the floor. And this is where you'd be able to come in, look at what's being posted, hit quick buy, and basically snipe a rare and either hold it or flip it later. Another great feature that they're working on is going into the analytics tab, and they're basically doing something kind of like NFTNerds, where you're going to be able to see the floor walls and see how many are listed at what. You're going to get those scatter charts as well. They haven't come out with that. They're currently working on it. So what's great about Flava Tools, and one thing I really like about them, is that the team seems to be constantly working on it. They're trying to update it, make sure it's got pretty much everything all these other tools have. And that way they are constantly making sure that the value is being added to their holders, whether that is through the pass or through the subscription. So that's pretty much it for Flava Tools. It's really good as it is, but they are innovating and building a lot of stuff that I'm looking forward to. And full disclosure, again, there's only 500 of these passes. I own 2 of these, one so I could use and one because I believe in the long-term vision of this tool. I think it's one of the tools that has a lot of potential to remain and be a player and innovate in the space. So I'm holding an extra one to potentially flip later. But that's it for Flava Tools. Let's go ahead and dive into the last tool. All right, now the last tool I use, which many people are typically familiar with in the market, is called Icy Tools. And the reason I still use Icy Tools, to be honest, is because I have a 6-month subscription. However, I do often find myself on Icy Tools, even though I have Flava and NFTNerds. And the reason for that is because if I click Azuki, I really like Icy Tools scatter charts because they are larger and I feel like I can see more. So typically I will head over to Icy Tools every now and then just to see where we are consolidating at or where support is being held. You can also do the same thing where you see the holders, so seeing the unique holder count and ratio. And then on top of that, you can scroll down and see the volume being traded. Now, the one thing I don't love about Icy Tools that they haven't done yet is create something like a bar chart. I did reach out to them because I was curious if they were going to innovate and update their UI and their tools. They did say they are working on some stuff, so hopefully they can and will. But one thing that I constantly find myself coming back to Icy Tools for in particularly is to head over to collections. And I typically try to have a tab or this on a screen so I can see what is trending on the collections. And doing something like this, so for instance, if you are in trending and you're on 1 minute or 5 minute, this is where you kind of find those very fast, very fun, sometimes high risk degen plays where, you know, maybe you're in an alpha group or maybe your friend says, hey, you know, everyone's minting this, the floor price is going like crazy. Well, a lot of times how you find that information is you go on something like Icy Tools, and Icy Tools is able to pull the data in real time, you know, depending on how far you want to go down the chart. Obviously, the lower you go, the more high risk it is because you're kind of playing with very volatile lower timeframes compared to the higher timeframes. But it's essentially saying a lot of sales are happening on this collection, buyers are coming in, the floor is moving. So this, for example, I'll just click on this one. I have no clue what this is. You can see that it is trending right now and the floor is moving up. So a lot of times I do like to use Icy Tools just for this feature because it kind of shows me potentially a play to make if a collection pops up and then all of a sudden like the entire market is aping in. That being said, is it worth having both subscriptions? Probably not. I just have both because I have a 6 months Icy Tools subscription anyway. And I do believe that Icy Tools is much cheaper. So going to the subscriptions, $62 a month for 6 months and $75 a month. So that's about 0.025 or 0.03 ETH for a month, even less for the 6 month compared to NFTNerds, which is 0.15 ETH for the month. So a significant price difference. However, I will say when you really start getting into the NFT market, when you really start trading and you're trying to maximize your profits, it's definitely worth it to have something like NFTNerds. But if you don't, if you're trying to just really get started and trying to get a better grasp on the technical side, the technical analysis part of trading the NFT market and navigating the space, I would definitely recommend Icy Tools. It's quite affordable, basically the price of a decent gas fee when you're minting a project. So $75 a month or even the 6 month subscription is definitely something that I think is worth it. And that is going to be it for this video, guys. I would go into the current volume happening on OpenSea right now. We are seeing a little bit less volume, but Dune Analytics is dragging right now and not showing me the volume. But either way, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you found some insights and valuable information into these tools and why they're priced at the price points they're priced at, and if they are worth it, In my opinion, they are worth it. That's why I use them. That's why I paid for them. Is it worth it for you? That kind of just depends where you are sitting monetarily in the space. What I would recommend if you're just starting out would be to get something like Icy Tools that's cheaper, or maybe Flava, something easier to start with, because it's very helpful to have something like a rank tool built in, which we saw on Flava, and also having access to those bar charts and scatter charts that they're implementing on the analytics tab. And then once you level up, you can get into something like NFTNerds, which is a bit more expensive, but definitely worth it, because that is where you're going to really maximize those extra bit of profits. That's it for me, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.